Welcome to the Scene Speaks podcast, where we delve into the fabric of societal issues through captivating lens of TV storytelling. We are unpacking social and impactful issues through the lens of TV. Hi, I am Lebogang Mitzileng, your host and a guide to a journey through the scenes that speak volumes about our world. Reason behind all of this, and let me just quickly sit down. Why I actually wanted to talk about this more than anything was that I'm aware that a lot of young people, whether in the township, in the suburbs, they encounter something like this, and we want to grow a generation that is financially free. We want to grow a generation that's also financially aware, a generation that also understands that in the midst of the poverty that they have been born into, there is smart decisions that they can still take from a financial aspect. And we don't talk about that because we are even let me tell you who also influences us. Let me go back to my needs. You are the one working now. It is you that must deal with it. Which brings me to the topic of we are allowed to build boundaries. Black child, you are allowed to build boundaries on how you will go about assisting your own family. You need to have the boundaries. I'm just going to change my angle. You need to introduce boundaries. And you introducing the boundaries does not communicate that you do not love your family. When you start to work, it doesn't mean that you need to have all your family members covered in a funeral cover. You can cover the most important people, in this case, probably your mother, your siblings, or your father. It doesn't mean now that long lost uncle of yours who's requesting that you put them in a funeral cover should also be placed in that. No, you have a right to say no. Because what I have then realized, and what this scene does wake or rather trigger in me, is that you do find a lot of especially young black people, right, who are trying to start a life, but before they start a life, they actually need to, go 10 steps back first before actually doing the real thing for themselves. And I think this is where we also now get to speak about filling your own cup. We don't speak a lot about filling your own cup as a black community because we are thinking the cup is the family. And the cup is not you. Let's go back to that scene.
Namanje mina kumele ngithengise isoli yami just for ukuthi uJapan aqhubeka aphile impela. Kumele ngithengise ngomzimba mama.
Copy.
Mama yikho lento eshoyo. Ngikhathele mina mama ile family, like ngikhathele. Angisazi ukuthi ngenze njani. Ngimncane mama. Ngilast born like mara sengumzali wakho. No, mama nginakekela wena nginakekela uJapan ngingene kangaka. Ama responsibilities ayangisinda. Mama ugcina nini ukungitshela ukuthi uyangithanda?
Oftentimes in relationships like this, where the mother has such a relationship with their girl child or with their son, right? Either way, depends on whether who is the source. If the source is the boy child, great. If the source is the girl child, great. Oftentimes when a relationship is like this, there is also a problem when coming to when that child is ready to get married, right? When the child is now ready to get married, the mother also in this case, you must see they would want to control the type of person they are supposed to get married to, because remember, you are the breadwinner and you are supposed to continue bringing the bread, right? And at no point can you be with a person who is financially taking, because that does not accommodate your family issue. And which is the same thing that happens in this story. I will refer to you which episode you can look into, which is the same thing that actually does happen in the story, right? Because at the end of the day, it becomes toxic. It becomes toxic when, as the individual, you fail to have boundaries to say that this is as far as I can assist. And I also need to assist myself, fill this cup that I am, so that I can continuously fill in back into my family. Maybe let us now introduce solutions, because you're probably asking yourself, okay, sure, what is the solution? Yes, I am the source. I am the first point of contact. Here's the solution. Maybe you are getting that little money of a 6th hour, 7th hour. You are aware of your family situation. We start by saving little, right? We save money. Now, the money that we are saving, what are we saving it for? Obviously, we need to define the savings, because if you don't define your savings, you will end up using that money for anything that arises. Define what is the saving goal for. Okay, we decide we're going to take this money and actually save it for a skill that I want my brother to learn. One, or we're going to save that money for a mini business that I want my mom to start. I'll make a quick example. My mom is very good with baking, right? And I've actually seen that. There are small parts of it, like there are bits and pieces, where she needs to improve, right? I'm actually saving something so that she can actually go learn, on top of what she knows, just to, grow the skill and just be great at baking. And then soon what I then do is I get a stove for her. When she gets the stove, what then she does, or what I then do is slowly I teach her, the basics of business. To say, oh, okay, this tray is 20 scones. It will cost you this much. It costed us this much. And this is how much you must sell one. If you are selling one, I'm slowly teaching her the basics of business. So that's what you also do on your end. Again, this is in a case where, your mother is not working. If your mom is working, we will talk about that too. But what I'm saying is, now I introduce a business skill because I want them to be able to sustain themselves even in a case where I cannot sustain them. And that is the same thing that needs to apply to you. You need to have a strategy to say, okay, clearly I'm going to have to help my family till kingdom come. What happens if I pass on? Also, it is very selfish to be the only one who can do something, who is a source, and when you pass on, now the people are. It's a problem. So it's very important that now if you teach them a skill, you are saying to them, I'm also teaching you to survive. Yes, I am the source, but you can be the source too for yourself. You can source out from yourself, right? And so those skills, like saving up money to teach them a skill, or saving up money to start a business that will be easy, especially if maybe you guys are based in a township. You are teaching them a skill that for sure, or you're starting a smaller business that for sure, they can start something on it, and slowly, teach them the basics of business. Again, that would be the number one solution that you can do, especially if your parents are not working, right? If your parents are working, I'm talking about the source, guys. Understand? If you're not the source, maybe you might not understand. But maybe you are not the source. Your sister is the source. And you have other, clues or maybe other ideas you can give us. Drop them below in the comments. But to the sources, maybe the other thing that you can try to do is, obviously, when the year starts, or even if, or maybe when you start working, what's happening in your own house. You know what you guys need. You sit down with your mother, or your father, or your siblings, whomever, especially when you are the source. And the source, ne? You sit down with them. And you try to find out, okay, what are the most important things, in the house that you would like for me to touch on? I will tell you my budget, what I will be able to do, and I will tell you what I won't be able to do. Note, this talking session does not mean you must now be telling them how much you are earning. I mean, this is in a situation where you never tell them how much you're earning. Also, it's very important that we set boundaries also around how much we are earning. It's not toxic, guys. It's not toxic. It is not toxic. Sometimes when our family members know how much we are getting paid, expectations, that's you will at the end of the day, you won't be able to manage those expectations, because look now, let's say I'm getting paid 20k in detail. Let's say I'm strong or ban and the 20k, yeah. But let's say I'm getting paid 20k. And for example, my mom has never gotten 20k in her life. Do you understand? She thinks 20k is a lot. She understands 20k is a lot. Whether you are renting or you are staying at home, she will definitely think 20,000 is a lot. Maybe the highest amount she has ever gotten is like 3.5, and she's like, yo, Chongasana, you can put in the gate, you can put in e-ceiling, you can actually also pay for your brother's school fees, you can also go to rehab, take your brother to... Guys, you need to be able to manage the expectations in your family. And sometimes you can manage them by not divulging a certain information. We are unable to do that as black kids because you want the bread and you are excited. And now in your excitement, you end up also telling how much you are getting. You will get to understand at some point that maturity also... silence means maturity, or maturity means silence. I don't know. But at some point, you'll get to understand that sometimes being silent and not exposing some things, it's maturity. And you are managing the expectations in your own family. Because come that meeting where you are sitting with your family to say, where can I assist? And they know that you are getting 20k. How? It will even go to a point where I know actually of somebody who was in my space, who had to actually take out a loan for the mother, right? For whatever reasons, they needed to take out the loan for whatever reasons that, and sure, it's your mom. I mean, why not assist? But the mother obviously was motivated by the fact that she knew how much the daughter was getting. And so it's easy to say, I mean, the mother has been in the game for a long time. Do you understand? If she has. She's been in the game for a long time. She's taken a loan before. Maybe when she started working, 8k. Yeah, Shofere went to the bank was able to give her 20k. So now she's aware that you are getting 20k. She's like, yo, Ntasi, we can even build a mansion if you can take out the loan fast. Because we do not manage these things. And at the end of the day, we want to come back and blame somebody. When the initial person who could not manage what to actually say was you. It was you. It was you, Dad. And yeah, that's just like part one of this scene. Just us dissecting that scene. There's just a lot of aspects that we can, dissect into that scene. But I would actually like to stop there for now. But I just want to highlight, the most important themes that have risen from just this scene alone. One, the impacts of the effects of being the source. And yes, there are things that will affect you as the source, but also you must play your role. Do you understand? You must be able to play your role where you set boundaries, and boundaries include being able to be quiet about certain information. You must also be willing to, invest in your family so that they can have a mini business or a skill that can sustain them, so that you know that you are not the only point of contact at all times. They can also be the source, right? And just being aware, like not allowing the manipulation also in around our own communities to influence you to do something. Because now when you want the people in your country to look at you like, yeah, no, it's not about them. In fact, they don't even know what you're going through. through. Like, even if you decide to renovate, they have so much stress. These people, these people have their own issues. They will even forget to congratulate you if you're waiting for the congratulations from them, because you would be doing it for the wrong reasons. In essence, don't be even influenced by that. Like, that's what I'm just trying. That's what I'm in essence just trying to say. Don't even be influenced by such. And let's learn to say no. And there's always a great way of saying no to our parents when we can't do something. The problem is we can't say no. And maybe we can, but maybe we don't want to disappoint. But let's go back to, as the source, you are the cup, and you must fill in your cup first. Maybe you might not have the luxury to fill in your cup first. You might be at a point where you can be filling your cup and filling theirs and filling your cup. If that works, then that can also do. I mean, it's fine. At least you are doing something to as a source. Do you understand? Yeah. And yes, but just for us to continue with this conversation, please do put in your comments in relation to this topic, and we will just be continuing with this topic, because I know that it's a language to many. This scene, its own triggers, it's also trauma to many, and there are more stories that we can delve deeper into by just looking at that scene alone. And if you're out there and you're like, Lebogang, I actually also want to engage with you on this conversation, whether online or for us to just have a meetup and I get to share my story with you, Jongasana, I'm very open to that. We can chat about it, and I've actually put in the details down below on how you can get me. You can also just write it on the comments to just say, I actually have a similar story, and I'd like to also share to say how I overcame this. I would appreciate it, guys. Jongasana, even if you speak your home language alone and you don't want us to speak English, I'm open to that. It's something that we can work around, just to make sure other people get to understand maybe what you're saying. We'll put on subtitles. If we need a translator, sure, we will get a translator. Maybe you come when now you are speaking a language I understand, but I don't fully understand. We will get the translator. But in the meantime, I would like for you to like, share, and subscribe, like, and share. Whichever one works for you, does do it. Share with your friends. Tell your friends about me. Tell them about this, especially if you know, my friend needs this conversation. My friend needs this conversation. Then tell them about me. Tell them about this hotspot called Scene Speaks Podcast. Like I said, join me next time for my part 2.